Good evening, Tallahassee. This is student meteorologist Evan O'Regan.
And I'm student meteorologist Aaron Saray.
And welcome to the Tuesday edition of FSU Weather on the first day of meteorological spring. We do have an atmospheric river setting up here in the west, and that'll dictate the country's weather going into middle March with the trough in the west and a ridge in the east.
That's right, and across the northeast, we do see some snow across upstate New York and over towards Maine, and some rain along the coastal sections.
That's right. That's the first of two clipper systems going to the northeast, and we also around Tallahassee. It's been a gorgeous day, a far cry from yesterday, and if you like warmer weather, that will persist throughout the week.
That's right, in tonight's headlines, atmospheric river to the Pacific Northwest, clipper systems for the northern plains and northeast, and a dry locally across the area. All that and more in FSU weather.
Good evening. I am student meteorologist Brian Garcia, and taking a live look at Doak Campbell Stadium right now. 72 degrees, winds to the north at 8 miles per hour. Current conditions in the area, we are seeing lower in the lower 70s. Thomasville at 68, and local radar right now. Beautiful skies, clear weather, much drier than what it was at this time yesterday. Tonight's forecast, however, we will be seeing cooler temperatures in the region. A little warmer by the coast, and as you head more north, it'll be a little cooler. And tomorrow's forecast, we will be seeing that plenty of sunshine, 78 in Tallahassee, and you will be seeing a little cooler around the coast, 73 in Apalachicola. And tonight on FSU weather, we will be talking about those clippers bringing that snow to the northern U.S. and spring weather for much of the country. And we will be seeing warmer and drier conditions along the Gulf Coast. So this weekend, make sure you head to the beach and enjoy it. I will be sending things off to Christian at the desk.
Yes, thank you, Brian. And so our top story for the week, we will be discussing what is going on in the northern part of the country. Right now, the Northeast is having that snow system covering much of New York State and the rest of the New England states. And up in the Pacific Northwest, we are having the precipitation mix, a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow. And it's going to be possibly moving further down into the rest of the middle part of the northern country. And it's going to be bringing in some ice and snow, and it's going to be fairly chilly. But for the rest of the country, especially the southern half of it, it's going to be remaining fairly warm in comparison to what's happening in the north. And we are definitely starting to feel that spring-like weather happening. And even though it is just the first day of March, especially for Florida, it feels like it's already kind of hitting that summer feel, especially if you want to head out to the beach or even your local community pool. Right now, we will be heading to the wall, and I will be showing you what is happening for the northeastern part of the country. Or actually, right now we'll be discussing the snow cover, and you can see the majority of Canada has that snow cover. Looks like they are reaching anywhere from 2 to 3 feet in parts of where Quebec is, and even over in Vancouver, they have almost 5 feet of snow. Down in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, they have about 24 to 36 inches, and even as far east as Denver, Colorado, and majority of the Rocky Mountains really has a good amount of that snow. And like I said, right now the Northeast is covered with that snow, and there is that snowstorm passing by right now. And currently sitting at 32 degrees for Burlington, 38 over in Buffalo, and even up in Caribou, Maine, it is 19 or 20 degrees, and there is that snowstorm, or excuse me, that rainstorm that is passing across Pennsylvania, really much of the Appalachian Mountains right now. So we're taking a look at the upper Midwest. It seems fairly quiet right now. International Falls, Minnesota is sitting anywhere from 25 to 26 degrees. Sioux Falls is 45 to 48 degrees. And over in Detroit, they are kind of catching that tail end of the storm. But right now, it's mainly just looking a little cloudy. Those partly cloudy skies are moving, making its way out of the area right now. And so over here in the Rocky Mountains, it is actually looking pretty quiet. Now, right now, there is that snow cover, but it is looking nice and clear with those sunny skies. Currently, Idaho Falls is 36 to 38 degrees. Boise, you're looking at 53 to 59 degrees, depending on the time of day. And even up in Billings, it's actually a little bit warmer, anywhere from 60 to 65 degrees, I would say. And right now in the Pacific Northwest, and that storm is approaching. Well, It is scattered thunderstorms, or excuse me, scattered showers that's passing by, because we do have that low that is right outside in the Pacific Northwest, and that is what is causing the rainstorms to be pushing in right now into the Pacific Northwest, and it is going to be continuing to make its way into the middle part of the northern country, like Montana, even the Dakotas, and so there is all that cloud that is picking up and making its way into the Pacific Northwest. And so right now, for the future radar, we're looking at the next 24 to 48 hours. That rainstorm is going to be making its way across. Looks like a ridge that is taking shape, but you can see right now that is going to be making all the way through Montana, through South Dakota, and even into Iowa. All of that snow cover that is going to be happening. That rainfall forecast right now, it looks like it's not too much for the majority of the states that you see right here, up to a ½ an inch, but there are some local spots that are going to be seen even over an inch and a half. Right now, Seattle, you are looking at the next 3 days, you are dealing with that rain within the next couple days, but Friday you are going to start to be drying out. And so for the future radar in the upper Midwest, that snowstorm is going to be making its way across all the way into the Northeast, even though the Northeast right now is dealing with some snow. And there is that snow that is going to be making its way down into the Dakotas. There it is again right now with Tuesday. Today it's going to be making its way all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, and then there is that next storm that the Northeast is going to be dealing with. And so within the next GFS snowfall, there is the snowfall cover. It's going to be about 10 to 12 inches into the Canadian provinces, and even the snowfall forecast is going to be seeing some similar values. Right now, Buffalo, you are going to be seeing some snow for Wednesday. Thursday, you have some partly cloudy skies, and Friday, it's going to be clearing up just a little bit.
And the good news is that none of that weather will be making its way down towards Tallahassee. You can see right now over Dole Campbell Stadium, that sun is really starting to sit over the stadium right now. 72 degrees and plenty of sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. So it's been absolutely gorgeous today. And we do have a little bit of a refreshing breeze coming out of the north at 8 miles an hour. As for the temperature almanac today, we reached a high of 74, so we are a little bit above our average, a little bit below our average in terms of lows this morning. Started at 42. I needed my jacket as I walked out the door this morning. And you will need that again tomorrow, but I'll show you that in a second here. Thankfully, we're nowhere near our records for today. A current surface map shows a cold front offshore right now that has started to cool our temperatures just briefly. That brought that rainfall yesterday. But behind me here, you can see that high pressure starting to build in behind the front, and that'll dictate our weather for about the next week or so with those warm temperatures and not a chance of rainfall, which is always good news. There is that high pressure sitting right about there on the Louisiana-Mississippi border right now. You can see that with those wind speeds rotating clockwise around that high pressure, and that'll start to move its way towards the east as we go forward in time here, and we'll start to get that southerly flow that we had last week, and that'll affect some moisture by the time we get to the end of the week, bringing back those 80+ degree temperatures that we had at the end of last week and this past weekend. Currently right now sitting in the lower 70s in Tallahassee, also upper 60s in Donaldsonville and St. Mark's at this hour. Dew points are also lower thanks to that cold front going through and drying us out, sitting at 37 in Tallahassee right now. Not a cloud in the sky on our radar, nothing to see there. That's always good news to see. And that'll continue to be the same way for the next 48 hours or so. As you see here, you might say, is this future radar really going? Yeah, there's not much to see at all. No clouds, maybe just a few high, thin cirrus clouds going into the evening tomorrow. So maybe they'll make for a pretty sunset tomorrow evening. As for tonight, you will need that jacket out there tonight. 44 here in Tallahassee, a little bit warmer down the coast, sitting in the upper 40s along the coastline. And tomorrow rebounding right back up into the upper 70s, maybe touching 80 in a few places like Madison, making a run at that 80 degree mark. If you're planning on going out tonight, you might need a jacket by the time you get to late tonight as we dip into the middle 40s, but a great night to be out there nice and dry. As for the dog walk forecast, great day to walk your dog tomorrow as the temperatures reach into the middle and upper 70s. And again, there's that warming trend. Looks like Sunday and into Monday next week, we could be flirting with the middle 80s. So, Aaron, what do you think? I think people around here are going to enjoy that kind of weather.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's pretty warm for this time of year, too. Spring has certainly arrived here just in time for the first day of actually meteorological spring here on March 1st. But zooming out across the state of Florida, it is pretty anywhere you go. Up towards Panama City Beach with that sunset right now just behind St. Andrews Bay over there. It's currently sitting in the middle 60s, so very comfortable outside. And then primarily 70s across the rest of the state with Gainesville, not a cloud in the sky. And then even down towards Miami where there's a little bit more moisture down there. I might see a few more clouds there across Miami. And then same thing with Orlando, not even a cloud in the sky there. Very beautiful, sitting at 72 degrees. Current temperatures across the Sunshine State are showing those 70s to almost near, well, kind of near 80, especially inland portions of the southern part of the peninsula, with temperatures down in Miami International at 76 degrees. But as you work your way up the spine of the state, we're seeing Tampa and Orlando at 72 degrees respectively, with some intermittent clouds. And then up along the I-10 corridor, we were sitting comfortably in the upper 60s to low 70s. So great night to perhaps go out for another walk your dog, or have a nice time, especially outdoors this evening. And our surface analysis map, we do see that low pressure off the East Coast, and that's what's going to kind of what's drawing in that drier air and that nice cooler air we saw so much today. That's going to pull off towards the northeast, and behind that we'll have this high pressure, which is going to blow in some of that northerly wind, bringing us that drier and much more comfortable air across our region. Our dew points across the nation are primarily dry in the 30s, I should say, across the middle portions of the nation, but even pushing down to 38 in Tallahassee, which is pretty dry, especially considering last week had been pretty humid, especially going up into the 80s with dew points in the 60s as well. Our upper level water vapor does show that dry air pushing its way down to the south, again behind this area of low pressure out in the Atlantic. That's what's pulling down behind it with that counterclockwise spin behind that down on the mid-Atlantic coast. And for our Florida radar, we do see some of those showers off the East Coast, but those are very spotty in nature and shouldn't affect too much of the coastal areas. Maybe perhaps down by Miami, which they seem to have tend to see more showers a lot there. But as we zoom closer to those showers along the East Coast, along I-95, we shouldn't see any showers bumping up along the Space Coast there, but all of it should stay offshore and probably make for a nice evening out there. And then as for South Florida, we see those showers just off to the west of I-95 near Alligator Alley, and those are quickly moving off to the south and should die out as we get into the evening and nighttime hours. Over the next 48 hours across the state of Florida, we'll see that warm up tomorrow, pushing 80 degrees, especially across central and south Florida, make way for another cooler night tomorrow. And then as we get into Thursday, we'll see those temperatures rebound into the 70s and mid-upper 70s across much of the lower part of the state, and then as we push lower 70s across the northern part of the I-10 corridor. But as we go throughout tomorrow's forecast, we see those temperatures rebound into the 80s. You're 85 degrees in Fort Myers, so a pretty toasty day, I would say, across much of the Sunshine State. But I don't know, I guess it's a good time to go outside, huh? Right, Evan?
Yeah, I mean, first day of meteorological spring, it definitely feels like spring out there, maybe even early summer. Again, not even only in Florida, but across much of the country here. You can see right now we have a couple high pressure systems sitting, one in the southeast and one in the west around Denver. But we do have behind me here, that's our next low pressure system that will start to dig its way into the west coast, and that will start that atmospheric river that we've been mentioning here on the show so far. And we also have behind me there that clipper towards the northeast. That's the first of two systems that will work its way through that region. But big picture right now, boy, does it feel like spring. Look at that, 61 degrees in Billings, Montana. You don't see that very often. So again, really feeling like spring. 68 here in Denver, 56 in Salt Lake City, 56 also in Seattle, with a little bit of that rain that we've been talking about with that low pressure system, but really warm across much of the country here. Southeast radar right now, not showing a whole lot. We do have that high pressure system sitting right about there on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi, and very mild temperatures, 70 or upper 60s here in Memphis, middle 70s in Dallas as well, and also into the 60s in Albuquerque, with those 80s down there in Miami. So again, very mild for this time of the year. Winds right now, you can see that clockwise swirl that we have going on here with that high pressure system sitting right there. And again, that'll dictate our weather for the next week or so here in Florida, bringing us those mild temperatures. Dew points right now pretty dry across much of the country. We do have that green thumb down there in Florida, Miami sitting at 63. But as that high pressure system moves off towards the east, it'll start to bring up some of that moisture from the south in the Gulf of Mexico as we get that southerly flow, and that'll bring in some of that moisture and elevate our dew points by the time we get to Friday and Saturday in Tallahassee. Here we go in the 48 hours for the dew points. You don't see it a whole lot in Tallahassee. It doesn't get all that high, maybe into lower 40s, but behind me here you can start to see that high pressure system take effect with that southerly flow, showing a little bit more green here on the coast of Texas, and that'll slide more towards the east by the time we get to Friday and Saturday. Over the next 60 hours on the radar and temperatures, you can see here that second Clipper system moves through the northeast here, but temperatures begin to still rise here in the southeast, but getting plenty warm by the time we get to Friday, only 59 degrees by the time we get to Friday morning, so plenty warm there. Jackson, Mississippi, one of the places that's getting in on this warm weather, upper 70s by the time we get to Friday. So I don't know, Christian, I think people in the southeast are going to enjoy the springtime weather.
Yeah, I completely agree. This springtime weather is a big relief, and I'm sure there might be some snowbirds that might still be lingering here and wanting to keep in on the warm action. But right now, for the rest of the country, we are looking at tomorrow's highs. You see the southern half of the country is looking pretty nice and warm, with Miami sitting at 79 degrees, and even all the way up as north as Denver, it's 70 degrees. But there's a big difference as we get up into Bismarck, North Dakota with 27 degrees. So it really does matter what part of the northern country you are. For Thursday's highs, it's going to be relatively about the same. In southern half of the country is sitting around the the upper 80s and even to the low 70s. But even Phoenix is kind of an oddball here with 88 degrees. That's very hot. And the northern part of the country is still feeling very cool with those temperatures in the 20s and the 30s. Fridays, they're still going to be sitting about the 20s and the 30s. Seattle is looking a little bit warmer in comparison to the rest of the northern part of the country. And the southeast is still pretty nice and warm with 76 degrees in New Orleans, 75 in Atlanta, and there's even some of those partly cloudy skies that's taken up much of the middle part of the country as those storms continue to progress into the northeast. For Saturday, the northern part of the country is seeing some of that snow. It's going to be raining a little bit in Minneapolis, and it is still nice and cold in the 20s, and so the southern part of the country is looking pretty nice right now for the next few days. But you're going to notice that there's actually a big trough happening here as we get into Sunday. That coldness is starting to dip down even as far south as Phoenix. Albuquerque, 52 degrees, but just the day before it was up into the 80s. And so for the average temperatures in comparison for everywhere else, the middle part of the country, Kansas City, you look like you are the highest average right now, 40 degrees above than usual. But in general, you can see that everywhere along the country, it's anywhere from 5 to 20 degrees warmer than it is usually. And this is the start where it starts to be very well known that it's a little bit cooler in California, in the northern part of the country. You see that trough starting to form there. And, well, that is when the low is starting to get across over here and make its way into the northeast. But right now, we're going to pass things off to Aaron.
That's right. It certainly is pretty warm across much of the nation currently. But we'll take one last look at our local area. We'll see that beautiful sunset right there behind Doak Campbell Stadium right there, currently sitting at 72 degrees under sunny conditions. And it's really beautiful out there. Great time perhaps to go out for a walk and walk your dog or go out for a bike ride. Very pleasant out there this evening. And hour by hour across the day, we did see that temperatures start off in the low 40s this morning. Those did gradually warm up into the 60s and 70s as we got to the later portions of the day. So we topped out at about 73 degrees as we got into the mid to later part of the afternoon here. In our temperature almanac for today, we did hit a high of about 74 degrees, so not too far off from our average high, and our lows are slightly lower than our average low temperature, but not too far off either. So overall, it's been a pretty comfortable day across the Big Bend. And as for our current surface map, we do see that area of low pressure off the East Coast, and that's helping with that counterclockwise spin along with this high pressure behind me, and that's what's allowing this drier air to funnel its way down the state. But we do see a few showers off the East Coast, but those should kind of pivot away from the coast, and might see a few showers as well bump up perhaps along the East Coast, but most of it should stay especially off to our east in our area. As for our current local temperature, I should say, it is currently in the low 70s across much of the Big Bend. Might see a few lower temperatures, especially as you get over towards the coast with a little bit of a marina effect right there. So near St. Mark's at 69 degrees and down near Apalachicola at 65 degrees. Our current dew points does show that drier air making its way across the region right now, with dew points in the 30s, which signify that much drier temperatures and much comfortable air today. And we really didn't see those heat indexes go up that high today because of that. So it really felt closer to our ambient temperature than last week did. As for our local radar, we don't really see much on radar. Might see a little bit of radar clutter here and there across the area, but nothing in the way of precipitation. And as for our future radar, pretty clear. I mean, not much to speak of on our future radar. Might perhaps see a cloud, some cirrus clouds up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, perhaps make its way off from the west, but that's about it for across, at least in terms for our area. And as for the overnight outlook, we'll see those temperatures drop gradually down into the low to mid 40s tonight. So might need a light jacket, especially as you head out the door past 9 p.m. if you are spending your time outdoors. And really, it'll be pretty comfortable, and don't expect any rain across the area, pretty much near 0%. As for your dog walk forecast tomorrow morning, so those temperatures gradually go up into the mid 70s. So it'll feel really comfortable, especially as we get into the afternoon with those not really, at least in terms of muggy temperature, I should say, across the area. But tonight, 41 degrees under clear skies, so really nice. And as for the week ahead, we'll see those temperatures gradually go up into the middle 80s possibly by Friday. So very, very warm across much of the area.
That's right. And from warm temperatures to not so warm temperatures here in the Northeast, we have the first of two clipper systems moving through the area right now. A quick look at the current snow cover. Not as much as it has been around Boston. We have about maybe 5 to 8 inches of snow, maybe more towards a foot here in southern New Hampshire, southern Vermont, also in upstate New York, upwards of a foot, and of course Maine, the snowiest place that I can think of in the Northeast, sitting just about 2 to 3 feet of current snow on the ground right now. But much of the snow is from the last system went through on Friday, and we might add to that with a couple clipper systems moving through as we speak. Right now, temperature-wise, kind of chilly. We have 20s up here in Maine, above freezing as we head south of Portland, Maine, 39 in Albany, 45 here in New York City. But those temperatures are kind of conducive for snowfall. As we see here, those cooler temperatures in Maine, we have those snow showers moving through right now. It's too warm in New York City to see any snowfall right now. These two clipper systems that have moved through here will be rainfall in New York City. But as we zoom here in Pennsylvania, Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, where Phil unfortunately did see his shadow this year, and Williamsport, we do have those rain showers moving through, and eventually those will work their way towards New York City as we get into tonight. And we do have those snow showers again working through upstate New York and also Burlington, Vermont getting in on some of that action as well. And up into Maine, of course, Bangor, Maine getting on some of that snowfall as well. We do have some winter storm alerts. We have just a slight winter weather advisory for the northeastern portions of Maine. Nothing too extreme. These clippers won't drop that much snowfall as we've been seeing with these past systems where we get multiple inches of snow, maybe even feet of snow, but these will just be a couple inches or so. As for Erie, Pennsylvania, these temperatures will start out around 39 degrees within the next hour or so, and as we get throughout the night, temperatures will drop below freezing by the time we get to midnight and 1 a.m. As for the future radar, you can see here, there's that first clipper moving through, and there's the second clipper moving through on Wednesday night into Thursday, and temperatures really drop behind this second clipper here. We have -8 degrees here in Caribou, Maine, 4 here in Bangor, 14 in Albany, 20 in New York City. So waking up on Friday morning, you might think, wait a minute, isn't it meteorological spring? It feels like winter out here. So yeah, you will need that winter coat if you wake up on Friday morning and have an early morning commute. As for the snowfall forecast, not a whole lot to see, less impressive than we have been seeing with previous systems, but the GFS still has a wide swath of 1 to 3 inches south of Albany. We also have 3 to 5 inches north of Albany, and Burlington, Vermont is one of those places that will get in on some of the higher amounts, say 5 to 8 inches, just an isolated pocket here in northern New York State of 10 to 12 inches. The Euro is a little more conservative, as it usually sometimes is. We have, again, a wide swath of 1 to 3 inches in that white color, a little bit bullseye here, just to the east of Syracuse with that 5 to 8 inch snowfall total, and also in Maine we have 3 to 5 inches. So not too impressive, but we do have still that snowfall to worry about in much of the Northeast. Manchester, New Hampshire is one of the places that will get in on some of these clippers. That will take place Wednesday night into Thursday, and as we go throughout time here, those temperatures really drop 4 degrees on Thursday night into Friday, so you will definitely need your winter coat there. So a far cry from what we're seeing here in Tallahassee.
That is certainly very chilly there. But, of course, tonight's lows across the area will be in the 30s. But as far as from that, and Providence, Rhode Island, we'll see those temperatures as well, rebounding into the 40s there across there. But overnight outlook for here across Tallahassee to bring things back over to our area, temperatures will gradually fall down into the middle until we're low to mid 40s tonight. And across the nation, we see that cold front right there across the central part of the nation from St. Louis down to about Texas. And that's not going to quite make it down here this far, but most of the weather is going to be controlled by this high right here, this blue H. That's what's going to help increase with that dry weather across the area. But across Pacific Northwest, we see those temperatures, or those perhaps a lot of some showers as well with atmospheric river off to the northwestern part of there. But over the next 60 hours, we'll see those temperatures are beginning to climb down as we get towards the mid-Atlantic. But, you know, at least for our area, not really much to cool down.
Yeah, I don't think that there really is much to complain about all the way down here in Florida. But we're going to be taking a last look at our local weather here. And so finally, that sun is finally just passing down the stadium, and it's giving that really nice orange glow. But right now, we are sitting at 72 degrees. We got some fairly clear skies, and those temperatures are hovering around the 60s all around, 61 in Thomasville and Apalachicola. But for us here in Tallahassee, it is sitting at 66, and it feels really nice. There is absolutely no clouds in sight, at least not for the next few hours. But definitely into the next 24 hours, there will be some of those clouds that will be making its way into our area. Not quite yet. There it is. And it's not really much precipitation to be worrying out otherwise. For tonight, it's going to be fairly clear. We're going to see some nice stars if you like to sit out by the park. And it's going to be a little bit cooler for like 44 degrees for much of our area. So you might want to bring a jacket or a blanket. And for tomorrow, it's going to be not as warm as usual, but it is going to be 78 degrees for us here in Tallahassee and a little bit cooler along the coast with the lower 70s. For the week ahead, we got nothing but sunny skies for the next few days, and it's very possible we might see some of those showers as we get into next Tuesday. But overall, we are sitting in the lower 80s for the next week, and our lows are going to be hovering from the 40s even up to the upper 50s. Now we're going to close the desk with the show with Evan and Aaron.
That's right. Thanks, Christian. So, as we say here in Tallahassee, things are going to stay nice and warm and dry, just the way we like it to start off meteorological spring.
That's right. What better way than, of course, showing like we're actually being in meteorological spring here, of course, opening up in March 1st.
That's right. And we do have some meteorological news that we have to share with you guys. Today we did have the launch of the GOES-T satellite from Cape Canaveral today, and that will replace one of the old satellites up in space, and that will help us to get clear satellite images and visible images from space.
That's right, and this will be a geostationary satellite, which means it's going to stay within kind of facing one of the faces or points of Earth as it goes around and as the Earth spins, of course. So that will provide much in the way, as you mentioned, of that good satellite quality, good resolution for our satellite images that we observe here as meteorologists and weather
That's
folks.
right. And make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/FSU weather.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU weather.
And you guys can also watch us live on YouTube if you're not already, 5 days a week at 6 o'clock at youtube.com/FSU weather.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FSU weather.
That's right. Send us all those nice pictures that you have. And again, with that satellite launch, that's very important in this day and age with those more extreme storms. We'll get great data on all those things.
That's right. I wasn't able to watch it, but certainly looking forward to it. But that's all we have for tonight. I am student meteorologist Aaron Saray.
And I'm Evan Regan. Have a great night, guys.